Okay, so we talked about long division, we've talked about synthetic division. I'm going to show you one other way, and this is by using the box method for dividing polynomials. This is similar to long division. You can use it for dividing by any polynomial. Synthetic division is the only one where it has to be a linear polynomial in order to divide by. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So if we have 4x cubed minus 2x squared plus 10x minus 9, and we're dividing it by x squared minus 1, we can use the box method. First thing you need to do is check and make sure that you're not missing any terms. So I have a cubic, quadratic, linear, and constant. This one's good to go. Here I only have I start with a quadratic and automatically goes down to my constant. So I'm missing my linear term. So we're going to put that missing linear term in between so that we have that placeholder. Now we're going to create our box. This is what we're dividing by is our height. So we're dividing by x squared, 0 or 0x, and -1. And then we draw our box. Length will differ depending on how much we have to do. You can always add columns. You might not use them all. We're just creating what we have. So it's set up. Now we get started. First thing you do is take your first term and you're going to put it in your first box. So we just copy this down. Same thing with long division. We say what times x squared gives us 4x cubed. So right now we have 2 x's. We need 3, so we need 1 more x. We have a coefficient of 4 here and nothing here, so we need to multiply by 4x to x squared to give us 4x cubed. And that works. Now we're going to take this 4x and multiply it by these two terms. 4x times 0 is 0. 4x times -1 is -4x. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. We're going to focus on our second term, which is -2x squared. We want this entire diagonal to add to give us -2x squared. So what plus 0 gives us -2x squared? Because we're adding to a 0, this becomes easy, and it's just -2x squared. So this entire diagonal adds to give us -2x squared. So what times x squared gives us -2x? We're just missing the coefficient, which is -2. Now we do the same thing we did earlier, we just multiply. -2 times 0 is 0. -2 times -1 is +2. Okay, we have a constant up here, so we are done other than our remainder. So we're going to check to see if we have a remainder. And these diagonals need to add up to give us these last two terms. So we're going to check this. So we want this next diagonal to add to give us 10x. And it doesn't because we have a -4x and a 0. So what plus -4x gives us a positive 10x? And it's 14x. 14 minus 4 gives us 10. Now we do the same thing with our last term. So what plus 2 gives us -9? And it's -11. I have -$11. I add 2. I now have -$9. So this is our remainder. And this is our polynomial. So we write it out. 4x minus 2. Remember, we add our remainder, which is 14x minus 11, and put it over what we originally divided by. And this is your new polynomial. We're going to do one more, and then you can try. So again, we need to check for anything that's missing. So here we start with a quadratic. We want to make sure we're not missing anything in between that and the constant. So quadratic, linear, constant, this is good. Here we start with a to the power of 4. So it's a quartic function. I am missing my cubic. So I need a placeholder there. I have quadratic, linear, and constant. So I'm going to write this out so we're not missing anything. So this is what we are dividing into. So we're going to take what we're dividing by, which is x squared, x, and 1, and we're going to create our chart or box. Okay, we do exactly what we did before. We're going to start with our first term. This goes in the first box, which is x to the 4th power. Now, what times x squared gives us x to the 4th power? And the answer is x squared. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Now we multiply down. X squared times x is x to the 3rd power. X squared times 1 is x squared. Go on to the next one. And we say, what times we want it to add up to 0x cubed? So I have a positive x cubed. What can I add to this to give me 0? And that would just making it negative. So the same thing, negative. These both become 0. And so what times x squared gives us a negative x cubed? We need the negative sign. I have 2 x's. I need 3. So I just need 1 more x. Multiply down. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times 1 is negative x. Okay, now we move on to the next term. So now I'm focusing on negative 4x squared. I need this diagonal to add to give me a negative 4x squared. So I have an x squared and a negative x squared. These both become 0. They cancel each other out. So what do I need now? Just a negative 4x squared. So what times x squared gives me a negative 4x? The only thing that's different is this this coefficient. So we multiply by negative 4. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. This was our constant, so now we're looking to see if we have a remainder. And again, we want them to equal our last 2 terms. So we're looking at this 2x. I need this diagonal to equal 2x. I have a negative x and a negative 4x, which gives me negative 5x. What plus negative 5x gives me 2x? And it's 7x. So 7 minus 4 is 3, minus 1 is 2. Then we look at our very last term, which is negative 9. What plus negative 4 gives us negative 9? And the answer is negative 5. Same signs, add and keep. 5 plus 4 is 9, and we keep that sign. So again, here's our remainder. Here's our polynomial. So the answer to this is x squared minus x minus 4. And then we add our remainder and put it over what we were dividing by. And this is our new polynomial. So now I want you to try these two on your own. So find the quotient when you divide this into this. And then if you have a rectangular prism and has a volume of this and a height of this, we want to find the base. So you're dividing again. I want the base, I divide by h. So to get the base, we take the volume and divide it by the height. So you're just taking this and dividing it into this. So try these two, see what you can do.